And we are going to set up the kubelet to run. There's a few things. You have the kubelet, you have kubeproxy, and the other major component that we're going to be installing is the containerd. And the crack. This is just the CTL to interface with it. So this would be somewhat similar. I feel like I need to redo this. Maybe next week, if I get adventurous and want to go off the beaten path, we'll do this on worker 2. And instead of doing containerd, we'll do cryo. Yeah, I think that might be good. All right, so we have our control plane. Let's actually go make sure really quickly that that's still up. I just turned on the nodes willy-nilly all like, and I usually have an order to it. So before we get too far into this, let's actually make sure those are working. So usually I stand up the etcd first, etcd 0, 1, 2, then the control planes. And I accidentally did the control planes first because they were first in the list. I'm not sure that it should matter. These would fail for a little while to talk to the etcd backend, but it's just a, well, I guess, habit. Older Kubernetes was a little finicky. Nowadays, it's not so much. If you weren't here for Thursday's stream, I had to reinstall my OS because I accidentally kind of made my kernel upset with trying to install hardware encoding. Which it now hardware encodes, so you can see my CPU is not on fire like it normally is, which is fantastic. Okay, let's do... let's hit the health endpoint. I forget the... One second, we might actually just be up arrow to it. Yeah, look at that. I didn't even have to do all that work. Beautiful. All right. Let's... All right, so we will start with... Okay, so I actually did install some stuff because I wasn't sure the exact things that they were called for in the Kubernetes the hardest way. Let me open that up so we can see. There is one thing here that's very Ubuntu specific, and since we're not on Ubuntu, we had to kind of... I had to look around. So when you're doing it, they install these things here. So we want to make sure that we have these. And they're available with Zypper very easily. The only thing that there was socat tools -tools was the package for this. So anyways, if you're going to install it on Leap, that's socat -tools. So I got that installed for us. On Jira OS, swap is turned off by default. I know that a lot of like Ubuntu's and whatnot are on, but we don't have to do this. We can actually just check if we want to. And it's not on. Swap on unrecognized option. I don't know what I did. 1 second. Okay, yeah, it will report here. I accidentally did a multi-line. Yeah, whatever. Anyhow, so swap is off, and that's good. This is important, so you need to make sure swap is off. The kubelet is not, and the scheduler specifically is not optimized for swap. So it can cause some weird problems if you're going to run with swap on. Yeah, so do make sure that swap is turned off. All right, so we already have swap off. This is how you turn it off. You can also, if swap has currently allocated some stuff, you'll have to go into fstab and delete some stuff and reboot. Ours is already off, so it's fine. All right, so I already downloaded these for us, so we don't have to download them. This is just all the very version specific tools. So again, it's every version of Kubernetes is very specific to every version of everything that's running. So make sure you have the right versions for the version of Kubernetes that you're wanting to run. All right, so let's make these directories. I don't know if I did this part. I was trying to cut down on the copy and paste that we have to do. All right, so let's get to installing the binaries. Now again, in a real production, you're going to want to install these from a package source somewhere, but that's not what we're doing. All right. Now we're going to untar the cryctl stuff. All right. And we'll do the same with the container D. But we'll put that inside this folder we made. And then we can also get the CNI plugins. So this is our networking stuff. Let's see, sudo tar xvf CNI plugins, and this will be 2. Beautiful. And now we can move our run C. Makes it easier to use. We'll also need to make these things executable since we download them from the internet. Don't ever just blindly do this. Again, I'm no security expert, but these are easy steps to not bite yourself in the derriere. There's a reason that they don't download as executable in the first place. Proxy, kubelet, the kubelet, and run C. All right. And then we can move these into our bin so that we can access them. Kube proxy, kubelet run C, and we'll move them to user. And we'll run that with sudo. All right. And now we should be able to. So if you don't know what run C is, it's what most things use to run Linux containers. I say most things generically, and it depends on what type of containers you're talking about, because obviously Flatpak and Snap they use Linux containers, and that's not what these run. I'm referring to more of your Docker containers. All right, let's go and we're going to move the containerd bin to bin. I have sudo, perfect. All right, so now we need to, if you're doing this following the instructions, there's a nice little curl to get your pod CIDR range. This is for your pod networking on the instances. So because we're not doing that, you can't do the little curl command that he gives. So we're going to go ahead and just set our pod CIDR. We're just going to make we don't actually have to set it. We're going to just put it into the files. That being said, we should look up a good default for that. This is as far as I got prepared. What a good CIDR default was. All right. And I think I have it. So I think we'll be using this. Sorry, it was off in another screen. And I keep hitting shift. We'll be using this for our CIDR network. All right. So in that case, we can set up our bridge. So this is networking a little weird. Actually, is anybody else seeing really weird colors on the stream? Okay. 1 second. Let me try to fix this.